Blessed be, and welcome to another episode of Which Please. It is I, Odin the Seer, and today I wanted to make a candle that I have wanted to make for a very, very long time on this channel, and that is a candle for emotional damages, blocks, and pains. These candles are specifically for people who have been emotionally traumatized in relationships, be it somebody using you and tossing you aside, be it a partner cheating on you, what have you. Anything that has to do with emotional damages that one holds in their reality. Considering the fact that I have rendered the tallow, and tallow is great for anything to do with the deepest self, this plane of existence, family, home, what have you, I really wanted to take this opportunity and show the Witch Please family members how to assist with A, healing emotional trauma in regards to love and relationships, or healing trauma, or when you're trying to get over infidelity in your relationship. So I hope you guys like this video. Let's get started, and I will give you the skinny on what you're going to be needing today. So this is basically what you use for cold creams. It's glass, it has a lid to it. I like to use these because I find that they are really kind of lovely and they're pretty, and I really like to have that kind of a vibration. When you go and you pick this up, it really does feel like something precious. I find that this really helps with the sympathetic magic part of it. You're looking at it, it's something sacred. And anytime I'm dealing with some client and they've just gone through an infidelity and they're really trying to get that back on track, I will actually make these and I will tell them you should probably go with your spouse on a little holiday together, burn this candle every night before you guys go to bed for a little bit, get the room scented of that. And I have had some wonderful, wonderful results for my clients for this. Now, alongside of therapy and whatnot, because if you're really that traumatized by infidelity, you might want to talk to somebody about it as well, or go see your local witch, darling, because we're always good for assistance with those as well, you know what I'm saying? If you cannot, these tea lights are quite fine as well, with the little wicks and whatnot. You can use those as well. The oils that I have chosen. So I've chosen fennel today. The reason why I chose fennel is because fennel is great for anything to do when it comes to love, when it comes to understanding, when it comes to seeing the bigger picture, when it allows for the highest self or the divine self to be able to get a better understanding. It's great for having sympathy and empathy for that person, for looking a little deeper into what exactly was going on. It's also great for new foundations and starting a new path. Fennel is so wonderful when it comes to the head and the mind, allowing the higher self to come in, give higher knowledge so that you can really start looking forward rather than getting caught up in any kind of illusion. I've been with this person for 15 years and he did this to me, and I can't forgive you for this anymore, and blah 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 blah. I'm too filled with resentment. Look, honey, if you've been together for 15 years, you have fostered children together, right? And this person done messed up one time, you might want to get your priorities straight, darling. Just saying. Just putting it out there. I understand that it hurts, boo-boo. I understand that, there's some things that need to be done, but it takes two to tango, honeybee. It takes two to tango. Rather than breaking someone down, discuss it. Build yourself up, okay? Figure out why you got married in the first place, why you got together in the first place, what really matters. Maybe you're both off track a little bit here, and you need to get a little creative synthesis going on up in your world, okay? And fennel helps with this. Lemongrass. We know lemongrass is great for turning one thing to another. It's also great when it comes to love. It's also great when it comes to understanding. It's also great when it comes to having that support, right? It's a lesser van. It is wonderful for assisting people to connect again. Okay? Just because a trauma has happened, just because an infidelity has happened, just because of this has happened, you can reconnect. So I like to put this part in when it comes to any of my clients who are going through that infidelity, it's very important for you guys to be able to reconnect, or for you, if you cannot get over the fact that this person has done this and you want to end that relationship, this is a good way for you to be able to start healing those wounds and not keeping the emotional trauma that comes along with said things. Peppermint, honey, we don't want to waste our time. We don't want it to be slow. Okay, we don't want this to be 45 years to be able to get over something like that. No, honey, no. We want this to be quick, and I like to bring in this peppermint to be able to speed things up a little bit. Also to assist with the healing, removing all of those blocks that are within inside of you that are just limiting and causing conflict and all that bullshit that does not really need to be there. Overcome it, honey. Don't allow for yourself to be overcome with pain and anger and resentment. To overcome that crap, okay? Take over it and see the highest self. See the lesson that needs to be learned in this, and removing the trauma from your reality. Cinnamon. Anytime you're in a relationship, especially when it comes to things like infidelity, right? All your friends, your cousins, your mama, gonna be like, how dare that person done did this, and how you couldn't, and you shouldn't, and this, that, and the other. But that's their perspective, darling. That's their perspective. Only you and your spouse or you and your partner know what's going on in that relationship, okay? And there's always at least two sides to every story. There's your side, their side, and somewhere in the middle of there is the truth. And I'm sure for every other person that's witnessed what was going on, they got a side of the story too. So, what this does is cinnamon helps break down all that chatter around. Okay? All that conflict around. All those people who don't necessarily know what the hell's going on, but they all have an opinion on what should be done. It helps to silence that. Okay? Keep that away from you so you and that other person can make a decision on what you want to do and the step and the path that you want to take. And for those of you who are having an issue with traumas that happened in the past, it allows you to be able to burn away all of that stuff. Allows you to be able to feel a connection with the self again, to alleviate the trauma that comes along with it. Ginger, honey, we need to root ourselves, okay? We need to be rooted in who we are and where we want to go. And ginger is also a great power amplifier. So I like to use ginger to bring in that foundational aspect, right? To heal yourself of the trauma, but to also be able to find that place within inside the deepest self for compassion, understanding, to be able to love again, and to not hold on to things that are long past that are affecting any opportunity you have to build a strong, healthy relationship. All right, so here I have some beef tallow, and it's nice and warm, not hot, and we are going to be starting to put in our oils here. So first we're going to start off with the ginger. Now I am going to be putting in 10 drops of the ginger. Now this tallow is great because you can actually use candle dyes in it as well. So this is wonderful, and I made this one pink, and just because pink is great for loving and healing and all of those other types of vibrations. So I really wanted to bring that in as well. The next thing we're going to be using is lemongrass, and I'm going to be putting in 20 drops of the lemongrass. So the next one we're going to be using is our peppermint, and this one we are going to be going hardcore. I'm going to be putting 30 drops of the peppermint oil in here. Alright, so the next one we're going to be using is the fennel, and I'm going to be putting in 25 drops of the fennel. And last but not least, the cinnamon, and we are going to be putting in 20 drops of the cinnamon. And I am going to stir this clockwise. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we are going to say our prayer over this. Alright, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to take my rose petal, one of these bad boys up, there you go. So I'm going to bless this now. So what we're going to do here is we are going to now get our tallow in here. And I am going to start putting this into this here, centering it. And I am going to take my rose petal here. I'm going to crunch it up in my hand. And I'm going to sprinkle some of these onto the top of this candle. I'm going to place that aside here. Place my flowers here, and we're going to go for another one here. There you have it. You have candles that you can put the lids on top of them, take them away with you to go on that vacation or that weekend getaway to reconnect with your spouse. You can, or your partner. You can use these when you are working on your own emotional traumas when it comes to love. Burn them and just feel the vibration and really delve down deep to your darkest goddess, to where you are, where the traumas lay, so that you can heal them correctly. And for those of you who want to know how I made this tallow, please check out our Patreon account. The tallow and the rendering of it is all there, and it is less than a Starbucks coffee for 1 month. And our content, we are building it up, and they're great videos, y'all, so you know you want to see them. I think you might be noticing that there's some other colors here. There are going to be some more candle magic making, as well as the spells for these on our Patreon coming soon. All right, my witches, my spiritualists, I love you, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. It is a pleasure to have you in my world. It is an honor to have you in my magic. And you are always in a witch's heart. I will see you again on another episode of Witch Please. Love you, boo-boos. Bye-bye.